What's up, everybody? I'm Dapper Jeff, your gamer chef. In the world of Subnautica, there's all sorts of trippy creatures, like mesmers, and warpers, and most importantly, leviathans. Leviathans are these massive things that can easily kill you. So I figure I'm gonna turn the tables. I've got some fresh salmon fillets. I'm gonna show you guys at home 2 separate awesome leviathan salmon dishes. So come with me into my galley, I'll show you how it's done. Let's dive on in. Alright guys, so one of the first things we're going to want to do is take this clove of garlic, make sure it's peeled. I did that off camera. We're going to take our extra sharp knife. We're just going to, mince up the garlic. Alright, so you want to mince up some garlic because we're going to need this for one of our salmon portions. Alright, so after we get our garlic, we're going to move this to the side. Look at that. It's just going to wait right there until we need it in just a couple minutes. I'm going to take a fresh lemon, lay it down, and much like the garlic, I'm going to slice it. Unlike the garlic, you only want a couple slices, but, because it's going to, in the oven bag, it's going to release its lemony essence, its citrusy, acidic goodness all over this piece of salmon. So I'm going to take 3 slices there. I'm going to set this aside for half a second. If you can, have like a little container that you can put your unused lemon in, that way you're not wasting half a lemon. Make some lemonade for later. And last but not least, you're going to want some butter. And one of the reasons I'm not showing any measurements on this is because this is one of those, measure with your heart. So butter, we're going to want a couple little squares, little pats, dollops. 3 dollops of butter for this fantastic fillet of salmon. See, as you guys can tell, and as I've said, I love good alliteration. We're going to take our salmon fillet next. Got it right here, look at that, it's pink, it's beautiful. Got it from my local grocery store. I'm going to set it carefully in our oven bag. You also want to have your oven preheating to 350. So now that we've got our first salmon fillet in the bag, we're going to want to take the garlic, just sprinkle it on top, get a nice base layer. Like so. Next up, you're going to take your little pats of butter and just pat. Take the lemon, pat, 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 set it on top, layered nicely. And look at that. Now we have 1 salmon fillet ready to go in the oven. For the next fillet, sorry, wash my hands real quick. For the next fillet, we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to do something crazy and bust out a Dapper Jeff original. Alright guys, so for our next fillet of salmon, I'm going to treat you to a wonderful little sweet heat sauce, courtesy of Dapper Jeff. It's super simple. It's got a nice kind of Asian-y influence. We're going to start with some Sriracha. So you're going to want 1 tablespoon of Sriracha. Now this is actually a good marinade or sauce, depending on what you like. I'm going to take a tablespoon of honey. You're gonna have some nice natural sweetness from the honey. Pour that right in here. We're gonna go 2 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce. I'm gonna go 2 tablespoons of orange juice. If you guys got fresh squeezed on hand like I do, use that. And last but not least, for another little kick of Asian inspiration, I have some ground ginger that I'm going to take 1/4 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon ground ginger. Smell it from here, it's gingerific. All right, but you want to mix this just so you don't feel any clumps. So it's not clumpy. We don't want clumpy marinade. Or glaze, I guess, in this case. We'll grab our other piece of salmon, our other fillet, as the late, great Julia Childs would say. We'll take our brush, and we're just going to lightly brush on this marinade. This mariglaze. I'm going to call it a mariglaze, because it's a glaze, it's a marinade, it's both simultaneously. And as you can see, we're getting that nice glaze. Looks shiny. We're getting that good glazy sheen. We'll try to get all over this fantabulous piece of fish. All right, I think that's enough. Had I thought about it, I probably could have rigged this up into another 24-hour marinade. You guys can do that if you want to, just like we did in our first salmon video. God, that was like our second well-fed video. Anywho, I'm gonna take this piece of salmon now that I've glazified it. I'm gonna carefully set it next to our other piece right here on this bag. All right, guys, so next you're gonna take your oven bag. You're gonna try to tie it off. If you guys have a twist tie or zip tie, use that. I don't. So I'm actually going to manually twisty. And I don't know if I can pull a good knot with the way I placed the salmon. So I'm gonna try though. All right, there we go. I'm making sure to leave a little bit of a gap between our two salmons. That way we can have the distinct, we got Eshy's Fantastic Salmon and Dapper Jeff's Sweet Heat. Our oven is up to temp, it's a nice 350. So what I'm going to do is open the oven. And on this nice middle rack here, I'm gonna carefully take our salmon. I'm just gonna slide it on in. Close the oven up. And now I'm gonna set our fantastic friend, the timer, for 25 minutes. Now I know some of you might think, hey Dapper Jeff, that seems like a little, too much, but you don't wanna play with fish. Fish is one of those, I wanna make sure it's cooked all the way through. I don't want anyone getting sick. All right guys, so our timer just went off. I'm about to pull this bad boy out of the oven. Put on my oven mitts. I didn't have to use my fabricator for these, I'm a little sad. All right. So as you can see, our oven bag is full of air, which, obviously. But I can even see through it. The salmon looks delicious. All right, this is some delicious looking salmon. So as you can see, we've got our two portions. We have the Eshy's Super Simple Salmon with the garlic and deliciousness. We've got a little bit of the glazed salmon. So I'm gonna plate these up and I'll catch you guys in just a minute. All right guys, that's how you make some sensational Subnautica salmon that'll appease the Leviathan in you. I'm Dapper Jeff. Tune in next week for another fantastic episode. But until then, stay well fed. Pat, and now I'm having flashbacks from when we had to pat dry our wings. We're gonna pat the butter, pat the salmon, pat. Take the lemon, pat, set it on top.